Hi, everyone. According to my birth certificate, my marriage license, my name is Brandon, and I've been physically abused and sexually abused, and part of being sexually abused and touched was physical abuse, and it's part of the reason why I'm in this chair right now. You don't have to be ashamed if you was physically abused or sexually abused or whatever, because the same way I'm looking at this camera, showing my face, and saying that, yes, I've been sexually abused, physically abused, mentally and emotionally abused. There's no excuse if you were abused, if you chose to say something different, Going to a mental health court and going to a mental health clinic and doctors and stuff like that for years, and being around groups and counselors and other victims, I've heard voices and stories and people talking about being abused, the same way and stuff like that. Some people said that there was a system of slavery that is a choice, and some people have abused themselves. They said it was mental abuse. The mental abuse that they said they was doing, they said it was a girl, and she had a hyena, exposing your hyena. The people that said they was teaching you how to have sex, the grown people that was teaching you how to kiss and teaching you how to have sex, the grown people that taught you how to have sex or taught you how to twerk, and then, by having sex with you, they broke your hymen and took your virginity and got you pregnant and stuff like that and sent you away to somebody your own age and told you to have sex with him and he'll think it's his baby. Make sure it's a virgin is what they said. He'll be so happy to be having sex. He won't know the difference between virgin or used vagina, That's the way that, people say that they did it. And so a virgin boy, just like myself when I was that age, would not know the difference between a girl that had a virgin vagina or a girl that had a used vagina. Because since I never had any before, I would just be glad that a girl was having sex with me. I would think that it mean that she liked me. But then as you get older, you find out just because a person has sex with you, it doesn't mean that they like you. And they said it was a story about a guy that they called Jack the Ripper. He would have sex with prostitutes and then he would murder them. And they said it was evidence proving that just because a person has sex with you doesn't mean that they love or like you. Because according to the Jack the Ripper story, if a person has sex with you and then would murder you after and leave you in a ditch, it's evidence that just because a person has sex with you doesn't mean they love or like you. It's the way it was explained to me. So some of the people said, there was a system called slavery is a choice, and it's not my idea. It's some other person's idea that said slavery is a choice. I would never want to steal credit for someone else's idea. So, I'm not sure of what their birth certificate or their government name says because I never really saw their ID or their birth certificate, but some other guy said slavery is a choice. So, I don't want to get the name wrong or say it the wrong way. So, the way that some of the people explained it to me, they said this right here. They said, when a girl has a hyena and he teaches her how to have sex, how to dance, how to twerk, and he already had sex with her, and he realizes that she's pregnant, but he was a grown man and she was an underage child and he didn't want to go to jail, he would send her to a boy and be like, find the first virgin boy or the dumbest one that never had sex before and offer sex to him, and he'll be so glad to have sex, he'll think that he got you pregnant. But if the child ain't his same skin color and the child don't act like him and the child don't talk like him, eventually he'll realize that it's not his child. Something about 18 years and find out it's not his, you know, not my words, not my ideas. Some other person said this. But it was like, if you did a good job after them 18 years, maybe you'll be to meet somebody you can move on to or some, they tried to do something similar, with the Black Lives Matter scam. Some of the girls would try to be, they said a certain color widow, to where they would murder their own husband and try to get insurance money because since the baby was not his and they didn't want to be ashamed or embarrassed, maybe they would get some money if the husband died and they would never have to face the truth that somebody else got them pregnant and it was never the husband's child, And sometimes they say them people know people that was police officers or worked at the courtroom or at the hospital and at the doctor. And they said sometimes the girls would, have sex with people at the court or the police officers or at the doctor in exchange for sexual favors. They would lie on the DNA test and say that it's your baby when it's not your baby. So just because somebody write on a piece of paper that you're the dad and it's your child, they say you can't trust that piece of paper because how do you know she went having sex with the person that did the DNA test and he did it in exchange for a sexual favor? How do you know that she went having sex with the police officers or those people that did fraud and they was doing the girl a favor and didn't give a damn about me as a guy or you as a guy? How many guys have been told that a child is your child based off a DNA test and the child don't look nothing like you, the child don't act nothing like you, and then years later, the girl admit that she was actually having sex with other people. Some of them was doctors and police officers and worked in the courtroom, and in exchange for sexual favors and money, they told you it was your child when it was not. She showed you the dude she had sex with and the child looked exactly like him and not you and not me. They said at that point, slavery is a choice. You don't want to be false claiming someone else's child when he looked exactly like all of the other dudes that she was with. So, sometimes it's more than one child that they had that way. So, it was like, and it happens to girls too. Because they were like, some guys target girls. They was like, it be homeless dudes at the shelter. It be dudes addicted to drugs out there in the streets. They'll say that they'll get a girl pregnant, as many girls as they can. And once a girl find out that he ain't no good, and once a girl find out that he just trash and just garbage, he don't have to worry about getting kicked out because he can just go to his other baby mama house. And then he can just go to his other baby mama house. And they was like, yeah, at that point, slavery is a choice. Because if the child that you had with him was just a child for him to have a place to stay at, you don't have to be a slave to that child. How many single mothers out there, the only reason you have a baby is because a man wanted a place to stay at, a man wanted a girl to use for income tax money, a man wanted a backup home to stay at so that when the girl he really won't kick him out or when the other girls don't want nothing to do with him no more, he can use his child as an excuse and say he want to get back together with you and be a family. And that's the reason you've been being a slave to his child? Is that what you really wanted? When you realize your baby is just a baby for a man to have an excuse to be in and out your house whenever he ain't got nowhere else to go. Is that what you wanted your life to be? Because if you got to face God at the end of your life, you got to tell God the truth. Did you want your life to be a life to where the only reason you got these children It's because a man wanted to use you for a place to stay at when none of the other girls don't want him around anymore. Then why you even have them children? So they say, abortion is not the issue. You don't have to worry about abortion if you never get pregnant in the first place. Because you should not child murder, abortion. No. You should not child murder, abortion. No. You should never get pregnant in the first place. And it was like, have you been making these guys earn the right to have sex with you? Earn the right to get you pregnant? Earn the right to, know you in that way? Because it was like, if you would have just waited a little bit longer, you might have found out that, that he was no good and he already had 10 other baby mamas and he just used them for a place to stay. When one of them kick him out, he go to the next girl house. Some girls actually wanted a baby and wanted a family, but a real family. Not just a baby for somebody to have a place to stay at when another girl don't want it. Some girls didn't want to have babies. They just wanted to be a lover and have sex with somebody and be married to somebody. You don't have to worry about your child being a slave if you never get pregnant in the first place. You don't have to worry about shit you have an abortion and is it wrong or not if you never get pregnant in the first place. Some people say slavery is a choice and people chose to put themselves in those positions. You don't have to worry about if you're wrong for having an abortion if you never got pregnant in the first place and abortion is not an issue. That's the way they explained it. You don't have to worry about is he using you for a place to stay and all of this and all of that if you made sure that he had his own place to stay at in the first place and you don't have to pay any rent and you don't have to pay any bills and he proved that he would take care of you. Some people say slavery is a choice. It's not my idea. Some other guy said that. So, what I'm saying is some people say slavery is a choice. If you a guy and it's not your child, you chose to be a stepdaddy and be a slave to somebody else's child and claim it's your child. Some people say, I would rather be called a bad parent, a bad mom, a bad dad, than to be a slave for 18 to 20 years for a child. It's not mine. Just so somebody can say, good job, you a good dad, you a good mom, you a good parent. And the child ain't gonna never love you. The child ain't gonna never like you. Just like in the Black Lives Matter scam, the child might get with their real mom or their real dad and they might try to have you killed for life insurance money. You can't trust those kind of children. Why would you be a slave to a child that would try to get you killed for insurance money? That's why some of the parents say, you just like your daddy, you just like your mama, you not my child. You wouldn't care if I was dead or alive. All you care about is chasing a chick, just like your mama, just like your daddy, in those situations. So, it's your choice if you tell the truth about what you wanted to do with your life. God knows that you know what you wanted to do with your life. Did you want to be a slave to a child? Or did you want to be a lover and a friend to the